Are you ready for a chilling journey into the heart of darkness? Tonight, we delve into the unsettling world of true parenting horror stories. These aren't your typical campfire tales, but real-life nightmares that will leave you questioning the very fabric of reality. We'll explore the darkest corners of human experience where the line between love and fear blurs, and the innocence of childhood collides with the truly horrific. From babysitters harboring sinister secrets, to haunted houses echoing with the cries of the past, these stories will send chills down your spine. So dim the lights, lock your doors, and prepare yourself for 3 disturbing tales that prove sometimes the most terrifying monsters are closer than we think. These are the stories that keep parents awake at night, haunted by the chilling reminder that even in the safety of our homes, evil can lurk just out of sight. Are you brave enough to face the darkness? Then join me as we unravel the terrifying truth behind 3 disturbing true parenting horror stories. Imagine the scene. It's a Friday night and the Thompson family is getting ready for a much-needed night out. The kids, 8-year-old Emily and 6-year-old Ethan, are buzzing with excitement, eager for a night of pizza and movies with their parents. The babysitter, 17-year-old Jessica, arrives right on time. She's a familiar face, having babysat for the Thompsons a handful of times before. With her friendly demeanor and responsible attitude, Jessica seemed like the perfect fit for their family. The parents give their usual instructions, outlining bedtime routines and emergency contact numbers. Jessica assures them everything will be fine, her calm confidence putting their minds at ease. As the Thompsons drive away, they steal one last glance at their children, waving goodbye from the doorstep, completely oblivious to the nightmare that awaits them. Little did they know this seemingly ordinary night would soon spiral into a terrifying ordeal, exposing a chilling secret lurking beneath the surface of their trusted babysitter. At first, the night unfolds like any other babysitting gig. Jessica effortlessly navigates bedtime routines, reading stories and tucking the children in with gentle care. As Emily and Ethan drift off to sleep, Jessica cleans up the living room, humming softly to herself. But as the minutes turn into hours, Jessica's demeanor begins to shift. Her cheerful facade fades, replaced by an unsettling blankness in her eyes. She paces the room restlessly, her gaze darting around as if sensing unseen presences. Strange noises begin to emanate from the children's room, muffled whispers, floorboards creaking, the distinct sound of furniture being dragged across the floor. Jessica, however, seems unfazed, her back to the door as she continues her unsettling pacing. Her phone, resting on the coffee table, buzzes with incoming messages from the parents checking in on the children. Jessica ignores them all, her attention seemingly consumed by something else, something sinister lurking in the shadows of the seemingly ordinary home. Hours pass, and the Thompson parents return home, eager to see their children. As they pull into the driveway, they notice an eerie silence emanating from the house. The lights are still on, but something feels off, a knot of unease tightening in their stomachs. Unlocking the front door, they're met with an unsettling sight. The living room is in disarray, furniture overturned, toys scattered across the floor. A chill runs down their spines as they call out for their children, their voices echoing in the unnerving silence. Rushing towards Emily and Ethan's room, they find the door slightly ajar. Pushing it open, their breath catches in their throats as they witness a scene that will forever be etched into their nightmares. Jessica is seated on the floor, her back against the wall, a chilling smile plastered across her face. In her lap lies a worn-out storybook, its pages filled with disturbing illustrations of grotesque creatures and dark rituals. But it's the sight of their children, huddled in the corner, eyes wide with terror, that sends a wave of icy dread through their veins. Panic surges through the parents as they rush to their children's side, scooping them into their arms and showering them with comfort and reassurance. Emily and Ethan cling to them, their small bodies trembling with fear, their whispers painting a horrifying picture of the past few hours. They recount Jessica's transformation, the strange chanting and whispering, the unsettling drawings that seemed to appear out of thin air. The babysitter's once comforting presence had morphed into something sinister, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light as she spoke of ancient entities and forbidden rituals. The parents, horrified and enraged, confront Jessica, demanding an explanation for her disturbing behavior, but Jessica remains unfazed, her smile widening into a chilling grin as she utters a string of incoherent words, a mix of ancient languages and disturbing incantations. It becomes terrifyingly clear Jessica is not who they thought she was. She is a conduit for something dark and ancient, something that had seeped into their home and threatened the safety of their children. Adrenaline pumping, the father ushers his family out of the room, determined to get them to safety. But as they reach the hallway, they are met with an invisible force, a wall of pure, suffocating dread. The air crackles with unseen energy and a low growl vibrates through the house. Jessica, still seated in the children's room, begins to chant louder, her voice taking on an inhuman quality, a guttural rasp that seems to claw at the edges of their sanity. The lights flicker violently, casting grotesque shadows that dance menacingly on the walls. Terror grips the family as they realize they are trapped, their escape blocked by an unseen evil that seems to draw power from Jessica's chilling pronouncements. The father, his protective instincts kicking in, searches frantically for a way out, his mind racing to find a solution to this nightmare. Each attempt to open a door or window is met with an invisible resistance, an unseen force holding them captive in their own home, at the mercy of a malevolent entity that had wormed its way into their lives through the most unsuspecting of vessels. Fear threatens to consume them, but the father knows he has to stay strong for his family. He remembers a story his grandfather used to tell him, a tale of ancient protection rituals passed down through generations. It was a long shot, a desperate hope clinging to the fringes of his rational mind. Gathering his courage, he whispers to his family, "We have to fight back. We have to show it we are stronger." He instructs them to close their eyes and focus on their love for each other, to create a shield of light against the encroaching darkness. With trembling hands, he retrieves a small wooden box from his bedroom, a family heirloom containing artifacts of his heritage. Inside, he finds a silver pendant engraved with an intricate symbol, a symbol of protection passed down through his lineage. Clutching the pendant tightly, he steps forward, his voice trembling but resolute as he begins to recite an ancient prayer, the words echoing with a power he never knew he possessed. As the father continues his prayer, the house seems to shudder, the malevolent energy pushing back against the growing light. Jessica's chanting intensifies, her voice morphing into a cacophony of screams and growls, her body contorting in unnatural ways. The pendant in the father's hand grows warm, pulsating with an energy that seems to resonate through the house. The air crackles with renewed intensity, the battle between good and evil reaching a fever pitch. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light erupts from the pendant, engulfing the house in a wave of pure energy. The chanting ceases abruptly, replaced by an eerie silence that is almost deafening. The shadows recede, the air clears, and the oppressive weight that had suffocated them vanishes. The father, his face bathed in the warm glow of the pendant, opens his eyes to find the house quiet, the lights flickering back to life. Jessica slumps against the wall, her eyes vacant, the malevolent presence that had possessed her seemingly gone. The family, shaken but safe, gathers together, their relief palpable. The children, still trembling, are quickly ushered out of the house and into the waiting arms of concerned neighbors who had been alerted to the commotion. The police arrive soon after, their faces etched with a mix of disbelief and concern as they listen to the family's harrowing tale. Jessica, now seemingly back to her normal self, can offer no explanation for her actions, her mind seemingly blank, as if the events of the night were nothing more than a terrifying dream. The Thompson family, forever marked by the experience, eventually move out of the house, unable to shake the feeling of unease that lingers within its walls. The silver pendant, now a symbol of their survival, is passed down through the generations, a reminder of the night they stared into the abyss and lived to tell the tale. The babysitter's secret, a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk beneath even the most innocent of facades, serves as a chilling testament to the unseen forces that sometimes threaten to unravel the fabric of our reality. The Campbell family, eager for a fresh start, stumbled upon a charming Victorian house nestled on the outskirts of a quaint, sleepy town. With its sprawling lawn, intricate woodwork, and a sense of history whispering from its walls, the house seemed like the perfect place to plant their roots and create new memories. Sarah, the mother, envisioned cozy evenings by the fireplace, the sound of her children's laughter echoing through the spacious rooms. John, the father, was captivated by the expansive garden, picturing lazy afternoons spent tending to his plants as his children played hide-and-seek amongst the trees. Little did they know, this idyllic facade masked a sinister secret, a darkness that had seeped into the very foundation of their dream home. The first few days in their new home were filled with the excitement of unpacking and settling in. The children, 10-year-old Lily and 7-year-old Ethan, were enthralled with exploring every nook and cranny of the old house, their imaginations running wild with stories of pirates and princesses. However, as the sun began to set each day, a palpable shift occurred within the house. A bone-chilling coldness would seep through the rooms, despite the roaring fire in the hearth. Shadows seemed to lengthen and twist, taking on menacing shapes in the flickering candlelight. Sarah noticed Lily becoming increasingly withdrawn, her once bright eyes now clouded with fear. Ethan, usually a sound sleeper, began experiencing nightmares, waking up screaming from vivid dreams of a shadowy figure that stood at the foot of his bed, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Whispers seemed to emanate from the empty rooms, faint and indistinct, yet carrying a chilling undercurrent of malice. The house, once a symbol of hope and new beginnings, was slowly revealing its sinister nature, tightening its grip on the unsuspecting family. As the days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences grew bolder, more frequent. Objects began to move on their own, doors slamming shut with bone-jarring force, disembodied footsteps echoing through the empty hallways in the dead of night. One evening, while setting the dinner table, Sarah felt a cold breath on the back of her neck, followed by a whisper of her name, spoken with a chilling rasp that sent shivers down her spine. She whirled around, heart pounding in her chest, but the room was empty, the only sound the ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner. John, initially skeptical, found himself unable to ignore the mounting evidence. He witnessed picture frames flying off the walls, shattering into pieces on the hardwood floor. The antique music box in the attic, untouched for years, began playing on its own, its haunting melody filling the house with an overwhelming sense of dread. Fear, like a creeping fog, began to permeate their lives, casting a shadow over their once happy home. The house, no longer a sanctuary, had become a prison, its walls seemingly closing in on them, threatening to consume them in its darkness. One particularly stormy night, as the wind howled outside and rain lashed against the windows, the entity decided to fully reveal itself. Lily, unable to sleep, lay trembling in her bed, clutching her teddy bear for comfort. Suddenly the temperature in the room plummeted, and a bone-chilling coldness enveloped her. A faint ethereal glow emanated from the corner of the room, slowly taking on a more defined shape. Lily watched in terror as the shadowy figure of a man materialized before her very eyes. He was tall and gaunt, his clothes tattered and torn, his face obscured by darkness except for two piercing red eyes that seemed to burn into her very soul. Lily screamed, a primal cry of terror that echoed through the house. John and Sarah rushed to her room, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and concern. But as they flung open the door, the room was empty. The only evidence of the chilling encounter, the lingering coldness and Lily's tear-stained face. The entity, no longer content with subtle hauntings, had made its presence known. And the Campbell family was left to grapple with the terrifying reality that they were sharing their home with something sinister, something ancient and evil. Picture a sunny afternoon, the kind where kids are playing in the streets and neighbors are chatting over white picket fences. It's the kind of day that feels like it could never be touched by darkness, a day where nothing bad could ever happen. This was the scene on an ordinary street in a seemingly ordinary town, where a family lived their life, unaware of the nightmare that was about to unfold. This is the story of a vanishing, a story that would leave a community bewildered and a family utterly shattered. The Thompson family was a picture of happiness. John, a hard-working father, Sarah, a loving stay-at-home mum, and their pride and joy. 7-year-old Emily, a bright and bubbly little girl with a smile that could light up a room. Emily was the kind of child who made friends everywhere she went, always eager to share a toy or offer a helping hand. She had a contagious laugh and an unquenchable thirst for adventure, always exploring the world with wide-eyed wonder. On this seemingly ordinary day, Emily was outside playing in the front yard, her laughter echoing in the warm afternoon air. Her parents kept a watchful eye from inside, stealing glances through the window between chores and catching glimpses of their daughter as she played hopscotch on the sidewalk. They felt safe, their little girl within their sight, her laughter a comforting melody. But in a terrifying instant, the music stopped. The laughter faded, replaced by an unsettling silence. John, feeling a prickle of unease, stepped outside to check on Emily. Expecting to find her engrossed in a new game, her attention momentarily diverted. But as he scanned the familiar landscape of their quiet street, his heart dropped to his stomach. Emily was gone. Panic swelled in John's chest, a cold dread gripping him as he searched frantically for any sign of his daughter. He called out her name, his voice tight with fear, but the only response was the echo of his own voice bouncing off the silent houses. Sarah, drawn by the urgency in her husband's tone, rushed outside, her eyes scanning the street, searching for the familiar sight of Emily's bright red raincoat. But Emily was nowhere to be found. They scoured the neighborhood, their frantic calls for their daughter met with the same unnerving silence. Neighbors, drawn out by the commotion, joined the search, their faces etched with concern as they helped to look under bushes, behind trees, and in every nook and cranny where a child might wander. But Emily had vanished, seemingly into thin air. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the once peaceful street, the gnawing fear that had been simmering in John and Sarah's hearts erupted into full-blown panic. The police arrived, their sirens piercing the growing darkness, and began their investigation. They questioned neighbors, searching for any clue, any witness who might have seen something, anything that could lead them to Emily. But the story remained the same. 1 minute Emily was there, her laughter echoing in the afternoon sun, and the next, she was gone, swallowed by the shadows, leaving behind a void of silence and a family shattered by her absence. The mystery of Emily's disappearance deepened, leaving investigators baffled and her parents clinging to a sliver of hope that they would see their precious daughter again. Days bled into weeks, each one a torturous reminder of Emily's absence. The police pursued every lead, no matter how small, but each one seemed to evaporate into thin air, leading to dead ends and mounting frustration. Flyers with Emily's smiling face were plastered on every surface imaginable. Telephone poles, shop windows, car windshields. A heartbreaking plea for information that seemed to disappear into the void. John and Sarah found themselves trapped in a nightmare, their once happy home now a constant reminder of their missing daughter. Emily's toys lay untouched in her room, her favorite storybook still open on the floor where she'd left it. Every tick of the clock, every creak of the floorboards was a painful reminder of the silence that had enveloped their lives. The community, once a source of comfort and support, now buzzed with whispers and speculation. Theories ran rampant, each more outlandish than the last, but none brought them any closer to finding Emily. The weight of suspicion and judgment hung heavy in the air, suffocating John and Sarah, adding another layer of pain to their already unbearable burden. The once vibrant colors of their world had faded to a dull gray, their hopes dwindling with each passing day. The thought of Emily out there, alone and scared, gnawed at their insides, fueling their determination to find her, to bring their little girl home. Just when all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of light appeared in the darkness. A witness came forward, an elderly woman who lived at the edge of town, claiming to have seen Emily getting into a car on the day she disappeared. The woman, though her memory was foggy, described a faded blue sedan with a dent on the passenger side door, driven by a man with a scruffy beard and a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. The police, desperate for a break in the case, clung to this new lead, however tenuous it might be. They released a description of the car and the man to the media, hoping to shake loose any information that could lead them to Emily. The news reignited a spark of hope in the hearts of John and Sarah, a flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness that had consumed their lives. The phone rang off the hook at the police station, citizens calling in with possible sightings, potential leads, and grainy footage from security cameras that might, just might, show the blue sedan. Every tip, every call, no matter how insignificant it seemed, was meticulously investigated, each one a potential piece of the puzzle that could lead them to Emily. The days that followed were a blur of activity, a whirlwind of hope and despair, as each lead was pursued with relentless determination, only to come up empty, leaving John and Sarah suspended between a fragile hope and the crushing weight of reality. The tip about the blue sedan sparked a flurry of activity. The police followed every lead, tracked down every blue car that even remotely matched the description, but each one led to a dead end. The man with the scruffy beard seemed to have vanished into thin air, the car a phantom, leaving investigators grasping at straws. John and Sarah, their hopes rekindled by the possibility of finding Emily, were crushed by the disappointment of each false lead. The emotional roller coaster was taking its toll, their hope flickering like a candle in the wind, threatening to be extinguished with every gust of bad news. The media attention, once a beacon of hope, became an intrusive force. Cameras camped outside their home, reporters hounding them for statements, their questions like salt on an open wound. The constant scrutiny amplified their grief, turning their private pain into a public spectacle. The investigation seemed to be at a standstill, the trail gone cold. The police, though sympathetic to John and Sarah's plight, had to face the grim reality that the chances of finding Emily were diminishing with each passing day. The case of the missing child, once a top priority, slowly began to fade from the headlines, replaced by newer, more solvable crimes. Months turned into years, the seasons changing outside their window, a painful reminder of the time slipping away. The investigation frenzy had died down, but John and Sarah refused to let their daughter's memory fade. They clung to the belief that Emily was out there alive, waiting to be found. They held on to hope that one day the door would swing open and Emily would walk through it. They never stopped searching, never stopped hoping, never stopped believing. Their love for her the only constant in a world that had been shattered. 5 long years had passed since Emily's disappearance. The case had long gone cold, the leads dried up. John and Sarah never gave up hope. They chased every whisper, every rumor. One afternoon, a construction crew made a chilling discovery. They unearthed a child's backpack. The discovery sent a chill down their spines. Word spread quickly, reaching John and Sarah. Could this be the break they had been waiting for? The police meticulously excavated the area. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Attached to the zipper was a heart-shaped keychain, engraved with Emily. The sight sent a surge of emotions through John and Sarah. The discovery of Emily's backpack breathed new life into the investigation. The police, armed with this tangible piece of evidence, reopened the case, their determination reignited. The construction site became a scene of intense activity, forensic teams meticulously combing through the area, searching for any clue that could lead them to Emily. The backpack, carefully preserved and analyzed, yielded few answers. The contents, a worn teddy bear missing an eye, a tattered storybook, and a child's drawing of a house with a bright yellow sun, only deepened the mystery. The passage of time had erased any fingerprints or DNA evidence, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. The discovery of the backpack, while a painful reminder of their loss, also brought a sliver of hope to John and Sarah. It was proof that Emily had been there, that she hadn't simply vanished into thin air. The location of the construction site, a desolate area on the outskirts of town, far from where Emily disappeared, only deepened the mystery. Despite the renewed efforts, the investigation hit another wall. Years had passed, memories had faded, and the trail had gone cold. The discovery of the backpack, while a significant development, ultimately failed to provide the answers that John and Sarah so desperately craved. The mystery of Emily's disappearance remained unsolved, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of hope and love in the face of unimaginable loss. These stories, these real-life nightmares, serve as chilling reminders that the line between our ordinary lives and the truly disturbing can be terrifyingly thin. They remind us that even in the safety of our homes, in the familiar streets of our neighborhoods, darkness can lurk and the unthinkable can happen. What happened to Emily? Was she taken? Did she simply wander off, disoriented and lost? The truth remains elusive, a haunting reminder of the mysteries that continue to baffle us. These stories, while difficult to hear, are important. They remind us to cherish our loved ones, to hold them close, and to never, ever give up hope, even in the face of unimaginable darkness. If you or someone you know has information about any missing child case, please don't hesitate to contact the authorities. Even the smallest detail could be the missing piece that brings a family back together. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unsettling world of true parenting horror stories. If you found these tales as unnerving as I do, be sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more spine-chilling stories. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, the truth is often scarier than fiction.